Hey guys, welcome back to Dark Diaries. Today is Saturday, January 25th, 2025, and I have not felt very good this past week. As we all know, the election has gone on, and I've dabbled a little bit into talking about politics, but I really pulled myself back there because I was starting to get too divulged into the media and things like that. But I've been posting, but I needed a little time to step back. And yesterday I was working on a research paper and I was like, God, I really need to get my podcast done. I haven't even filmed, haven't even edited. And you guys have seen how that has gone before. Like, I've procrastinated with this a little bit, and not because I want to, but because I'm like, I don't genuinely know what to talk about, because I always have so much going on in my head that I'm like, people won't want to hear it, or people deal with the same issues. So that's going to be like going to another person and being like, okay, yeah, like we relate on that, but what else do we relate on? And I've just been really noticing, like, damn, I'm shitting on myself. I'm shitting on myself. I'm shitting on myself. And then I woke up this morning because last night, and obviously it's in the morning, I'm drinking my coffee. I just had breakfast and stuff. Usually I would have filmed yesterday, had my lighting and everything. This morning I was like, fuck it. But last night I was reading The Alchemist, and if you guys have heard of it, it's about pretty much like manifesting universe and getting things that you want that align in your life that are positive and whatnot. As I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I didn't film what I needed to today, which was yesterday, Friday, but I did a bunch of my homework. I did a research paper, like a good portion of it and whatnot. So I'm still doing things that align with me because I have goals within forensic psychology for myself professionally within a career. However, I just am one of those people as well that wants to start a business, a side gig, and do this as well. This is also something that I'm passionate in, and I'm realizing, fuck, I don't know how to talk to people. Like, I push communication on you guys so hard and try to tell you that communication is key, and it absolutely is. But the thing that can go wrong with communication is if you don't know how to disperse it. And unfortunately, I'm really learning, like, damn, actually, it's not unfortunate, because you need to be able to learn somehow, right? You're not going to be perfect as soon as you just step in the room. But I've been really learning that shit. And so I woke up this morning, like I was saying with that book, and I was like, I don't need anything perfect. Honestly, every single time I set up a camera, I should just be able to talk about what I want, no? Like, even if I've been working on 2 YouTube videos and I haven't even put them out because I'm like, it's shit, it doesn't look like other people's. Like, I'm just starting to get like that, which is crazy because I've been on social media now for over a year, and I know it's not that long, but I already went through that phase in the beginning of like, I'm not doing good enough, my shit doesn't look like other people's, and I'm happy that it doesn't look like other people's, and I'm happy that it's not performative, but at the same time, I still need to chase that authenticity within myself, because I don't want to say doubts, but I wouldn't be having like this uneasy feeling of like overwhelmness and anxiety if I was being my authentic self and being okay with what I'm doing. Cafe Bustelo, that is my jam. But it's becoming debilitating, I will say, because I'm not gonna lie, people, when they view me on social media, are probably like, oh my God, like, I get people messaging me and they're like, you probably have so many messages, you can't even answer this. Baby girl, I have not even 5,000 followers yet on TikTok, and TikTok's going away in less than 3 months. And I just checked my YouTube yesterday and I had 25 subscribers. Woo! Better than 0, but like, trust me, I have all the time in the world to be able to talk to you guys and whatever questions you have. But what I'm trying to get at is that people in society, or like whoever is viewing my content or other people's content in general, they look at them and they automatically put them on a pedestal. And even though they have the same interests and they could do the same thing. And I guess it's just kind of confusing to me, because I'm like, damn, if you put me on a pedestal because I'm just posting social media and just putting myself out there, which is crazy enough, because people are like literally putting you on a pedestal just because you're not scared enough to put yourself on camera. And even if you are scared, you're doing it anyway. So that's kind of weird to me. I always wonder about that shit. But I don't even remember where I was going with that stuff. But I will say, when I started getting, like, when I start talking and then I kind of go off track, I was watching YouTube videos. I think her name is Madeline Argy. People were saying as long as you have a point to your video, like, you can go off track all you want. People don't care. And I used to get so insecure about that. Even recently, making these documentaries, making these episodes, because I'm like, I gotta edit, like, when I go like this, like, and I just pause. What do I say now? Because when I'm talking to you guys, I just tell you everything how I'm feeling, and then one thing leads to another, and then another and another, and then I start putting myself in a hole, and I'm like, damn, why am I talking? No one cares about me. Like, no one gives a fuck anyway. And I'm always just talking to myself. I don't really go and talk to anyone during the day other than, like, my sister, and she's getting ready to leave, so. And then I have to stop and think to myself, back to the Madeline Argy thing, or however you pronounce her name, and my apologies. She goes off topic, and I find her content extremely interesting. And then I had to stop and smell the roses for a second. Not everything is about content. Like, sometimes I just want to get on here and I just want to talk to you guys, and it kind of feels like I'm rebranding. Like, I've already, I guess, quote unquote, rebranded a couple times. Like, it would be weird for people not to do that when they're starting social media and, like, trying and figuring new things out. But at first, my content was all about depression, my rape, my sexual assault, like, all of this shit. And I was just trying to get myself out of a living hell. And then I would sometimes talk to you guys about forensic psychology and crimes and things like of that nature. And then I started realizing, well, I can't really teach you guys things because I don't want to get sued, and I don't want to disperse not negative information, but wrong information. I am about to sneeze. Oh, shit. Oh my God, sorry. But, and I still want to talk about true crime, and I still want to talk about psychology and whatnot, but I don't, I don't know why I'm getting on myself and being like, no one wants to hear, no one wants to hear, no one wants to hear, when I know that's a lie. I've had people message me. I've had people, like, straight up ask me, can you make YouTube videos on this? And then I start doing it, and then I just shit on myself. And I'm getting irritated with myself because I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? My whole content base is to take something negative and make it positive, and don't shit on yourself. And you should be self-aware and whatnot, but you shouldn't loathe. And I can feel that. Not like so much of a loathe, but I guess, like, I'm doubting myself. And I fucking hate that shit. So when I woke up this morning after reading that book, The Alchemist, I woke up, made my breakfast, got my coffee, and I was like, you know what? I just want to tell you guys how I'm feeling. And that's why I opened up saying, like, I've been posting, but I haven't really been looking at social media, because I'm not going to lie, like, everything is really turning me off. Like, I'm extremely scared to get depressed again, like how I was before. If you guys saw, like, I actually have a fear of depression now because I almost took my life from it, and it's the fucking scariest moment anyone could ever, I don't want to say ever feel, but it is one of the scariest moments someone could possibly feel in their life, when they feel so unlovable that they are willing to do that. But God, see, in moments like this, when I'm talking about it, it just takes me back to that spot. And then it's like all the words that I was going to say just get overfilled. And specifically, it gets overfilled with this moment when I was, like, by myself, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to end it. Like, I can't do it anymore. And I think that's another reason why social media has been so big for me, because I have to watch things back, and I can see in real time how my brain goes from this point to that point, in between, roundabout. I almost said something else, and just through and through you, just in despair, right? And it terrifies me. But God, I gotta stop saying but. It's so irritating. But you get what I'm trying to say. People like Emma Chamberlain or Madeline Argy, I feel bad, I'm just gonna call her Madeline. They just say how they feel. If they're feeling uncomfortable, if they're feeling depressed, if they're feeling anxious, they just say it. And I used to say that stuff, but it was coming from a place of, like, seriously, like, I need to talk to someone because I just don't feel good. And then to where now, like, feeling all this anxiousness, I'm like, instead of sitting here and grabbing my notebook and, like, writing down, okay, this is going to be my video, this is going to be my video for this, and this, I could do that, and that's really great for some stuff. I still plan out some content, but lately I just haven't felt like it. And I really don't regret setting up my camera right now and being able to just talk to you guys. God, it feels so good. Just talk. Like, stop thinking about what I'm going to say and stop thinking about what video is going to be next. Like, I've been posting on social media almost every single day for over a year, which people have done a lot more. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, this whole year has been ass by myself to then push into something, aka my social media in school. And I've grown so much, and I've honestly learned to love what happened. And I've seen a lot of good things that have come from it within myself and how strong I am as a person and whatnot. But it is hard. It is very hard. Like, I think that's what I was trying to say earlier, is that people probably look at my social media and they put me on a pedestal and think like, oh my God, she's going to school for for forensic psychology and like yada, yada, yada. And it's like, dude, I'm 28. Don't forget that. I'm 28 and I had to move back home after my trauma shit. Like, so much shit went wrong, and I'm not perfect, and I still got a long ways to go, and I'm still trying to make manifestations and goals for myself. Like, it's not all perfect in the hood. But I think with time, that people forget to look at is that even when people are down, if they're still trucking, and then later on, months down the road, you see like they're so much better, just know like they know shit you do not know. Because it's kind of irritating when people are like, you just got to get over it. Like, you don't, if you have never, ever been so down and out to the point of like seriously thinking about ending it, and then you get yourself out of it, don't ever tell me that you understand. Like, seriously, don't. I need to drink a coffee. Nothing irritates me more than when someone's like acting like it wasn't a big deal or something like that. And I'm not saying, put abundance on the issue, but I'm just saying it for people, thousands, millions of people around the world, especially with all this shit going on in politics right now. That's why I kind of took a step back and I was like, I don't fucking know what to talk about in my podcast, because there's things I don't agree with, and there's things that I'm definitely scared about, especially working within forensic psychology and the law. Like, I kind of do have to pay attention, but what's going on right now has just really been like a punch in the gut. That genuinely, I didn't know what I wanted to say to you guys. I was talking to my sister and I was like, what do I talk about? Because I just haven't been feeling it this week. Like, I've been reading a lot. I've been doing my research paper, really focused on school. And I really haven't gotten on my phone that much. I mean, I've been a viewer, but not like an active participant of like, what can I do next? What video should I do? I haven't really cared. Like I said, I have 2 YouTube videos now that I'm sitting on, and I was supposed to post this yesterday. I just don't have it. Like, I feel like women are getting shit on so bad, dude. And I fucking hate it. And it makes me, I just overthink everything. I'm one of those people that overthinks everything because I care about people so much. And I feel like no one cares about women. And specifically, a lot of people don't care about me. So it puts I'm not saying that a lot of people don't. I'm just saying that's how I feel, that a lot of people could give 2 shits whether I'm alive or dead. And I know a lot of people would say that too. It's not like everyone in the world is supposed to care that you're alive, but at the same time, like, dude, I made it out of that shit, but I'm seriously by myself. I got you guys in this camera and this mic, and then eventually, hopefully when I go to Florida, I have more. But you get what I'm saying? Like, with those kind of feelings and that kind of like past history with me personally, I just don't feel good about what's going on. And I don't want to sway anyone's opinions, and I don't want to, honestly, I just don't really want to talk about it. Like, I don't know enough about politics to sit here and like be like, I'm going to fight with this person about this and that. It's just more so of like, what happened. I've been seeing just things just like you guys. I've been hearing the same things just like you guys, but I'm sitting in my room and I'm reading books and I'm doing my research paper because there's nothing right now that we can do to change anything. Until other stuff starts happening, then yeah, maybe talk about it. But I mean, good news for you guys. I've been really getting into forensic psych, and I've been doing a research paper, like I've said 400,000 times, on childhood abuse in men. and how ultimately when they get older as adults, they have a more than likely chance of abusing their intimate partners and children in the home, even if those children are not their children. And let me just say, 1,500 times more likely that children and intimate partners will be abused by a man like that. 1,500 times. When I heard that shit, I was like, what the hell? But at least I'm starting to get more facts like that, and I can present them to you guys. Like, when it comes to forensic psychology, the only reason why I get nervous about teaching you guys stuff is because I don't want someone to be like, hey, like, you're specifically getting this information from blah, 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 and you're not allowed to say that as a student. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to cover my P's and Q's. So I kind of say, like, the basic stuff. And I was getting into true crime before and, like, describing all the crimes and stuff to you guys. But to be honest, it's just like, okay, like Sally, let's say Sally murdered Mike. Sally murders Mike, and she gets however many years. They go through the court system. Lawyers are yelling at each other. Girl, I want to know the fucking cases that are like, yo, Sally murdered Mike because Mike did this and she had that, and like, and I'm talking about mental illnesses, like, or the cases like when people are like, oh yeah, I cut off my spouse's left toe. Why the fuck did you cut off the left toe? Why the fuck did you cut off the left toe? That's what I want to know. But when do we hear about cases like that anymore? And I'm not wishing them on us. Okay? Know that. I'm not wishing them on us. But we've heard about, I mean, I could tell you so much about serial killers. Who the hell cares anymore? Not to be, you know, a true crime Debbie Downer, but that was so early 2000s. I unless it's a new serial killer, okay, like, we'll get into it. I don't want to talk about Ted Bundy anymore. I don't want to talk about John Wayne Gacy anymore. Yes, they're good references to people, like other illnesses or different things going on, but oh my God, can we please just get into the nitty gritty of other people or mental illnesses, or I don't know, figuring out a way to prosecute sexual crimes? What about that one? What about that one? Yeah, I need another drink on that. You get what I'm saying? The shit's boring. No offense. Not like that. But I'm just saying it's like, it's overdone. And God, that sounded so bad. You get what I'm saying? I would never disrespect victims or anything like that. But I'm just saying, in the way that true crime is presented in this societal form is so redundant that I feel like we don't even really learn anything. Like, we just look at them, we're like, men are bad. Which, yes, it's majority of men committing crimes and, you know, doing the sexual acts and shit. But it's not all of them. It is women too. And I'm not saying that we should flip the script, but like, maybe I could talk about that a little bit more, because honestly, I think it's childhood abuse that women will mostly perform rather than men. I can't remember. I gotta double check on that. But I want to hear the things like that, you know, like not the wowzers, but like the things that like no one sees, and it's like, holy shit, I need to start looking for that. Like, when people came out with all the, what is it, like the tracking location things where you can check if a pedophile's in your neighborhood. That's great information to know, you know. Or like what I just said earlier, a child is 1,500 times more likely to be abused by a man in the home if the man himself was abused as a child. And I feel like that is really good for a lot of women to hear, because like you, I was the same way, and I was a fixer-up, Bob the fucking builder, and let me just fix this man, and oh my gosh, everything's gonna be so good. And like, honestly, subconsciously, you don't even realize what you're doing until you realize what you're doing. I got my wake-up call in therapy. But yeah, women think that shit, and then we're just inviting horrible men into our homes. And I think I say it every single episode, but we need good men to make better men. We really do. Because we have lots of women, and I think that there's lots and lots and lots of wonderful women and men. But unfortunately, I think that men, they just don't really think about shit. If I'm being very honest, like, they just don't really think about it. And sometimes it makes me wonder, like, when I start evaluating criminals for different crimes that they've done, I just wonder if I'm going to sit there and be like, you didn't even think about it. You know, like, due to a mental illness or due to like abuse or victimization or whatever it may be. It's just crazy how the brain, okay, this is really fucked up, but I mean, you're on my pod, so obviously you want to hear fucked up shit. I was on TikTok yesterday and there was this guy and he was like, I sexually abused this man who was sexually abusing children. And a lot of people would be like, okay, what? But he was sexually abused as a child by a man. So I was like, what the fuck? So this guy is crying, which obviously I'd be crying too. And he went to prison, obviously. But he was abused as a child. And then when he got older, this man, whomever it was at the school or some shit, was abusing children. He found out and he literally made this man give him, and he's like, well, I couldn't even get like aroused or anything, but it was just the power of like, F you, pretty much, and I'm taking my power back. And he's like, it was such a, I don't want to say his exact words because I don't remember off topic, but essentially he was like, it was debilitating, but it was worth it. And now that he thinks about it now, he's like, I can't even believe I had the balls, essentially, to do something like that. Like, it's crazy how much power people will get and how it makes them feel and what it will make them do. And I agree, man. I agree. And that's why I'm saying with all these executive orders going on this past week, it's just like, I just needed some time. Please ignore Tiffany. She is snoring so loud right now. Oh, hold on. Let me show you her. I love her so much, but I hope you guys understand. And I'm just figuring it out. Honestly, I'm having more fun with this because I'm really not shitting on myself and being as hard on myself. Like, this is my project. This is not anyone else's project. And by project, I mean Dark Diaries and my entire social media. And I really feel like I have been performing for the audience, but within my limits, but I'm not being 100% authentic. Cause like I said earlier, I just start overthinking stuff and I'm like, oh my God, people aren't going to want to hear it. So I'm like still telling you guys things I believe and whatnot, but I haven't been so like, it's okay if I make a mistake. It's okay if I don't know what to say next. And if I don't know what to say next, how about just say how you feel? Like, oh my God, have you ever thought of that? And watching Madeline and watching Emma Chamberlain on their YouTube and their podcast and whatnot, it's like, oh, you can talk about whatever. I think I saw a video of Madeline talking about a journal entry she wrote when she was like 12. I gotta get more coffee on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna need more because it's definitely cold now. That's okay because I like talking to you guys. But there's just a lot that has been going on. I know that you guys have been feeling that way, type of way too. And as for YouTube, I'm focusing all my time on that. Like, I'm over the TikTok shit and I'm like, oh my God. I don't know if it's true or not, but someone said that they were going to be banning pretty much every single, every single app that comes into the United States that gets over 1 million users from a different country. They're going to ban it. Meaning if the US isn't allowed to buy it, it's going bye-bye, just like TikTok. TT. And I'm not okay with that. I don't agree with a lot that's going on. But like I said, I'm not educated enough to want to talk about politics and just telling you how I feel. I don't know. Because it just makes me overthink. Like, it's really just, I don't want to be one of those people that falls into the media, but at the same time, like, I am obviously falling for some propaganda. I don't know if all of it is, but, anything that the U.S. pushes out, obviously it's propaganda. But it's very disheartening to hear that they pretty much want to make us like Handmaid's Tales. Like, I don't know how to think about it, genuinely. Like, some people are like, don't worry, it's fine. And I honestly want to believe that. And so I have been kind of ignoring it, but at the same time, like, still being a viewer, just kind of shutting up, like I told you. But it also feels wrong at the same time. Like, it almost feels like, because it's going to affect us if it's real. It's going to affect us. And so it feels like me ignoring it is kind of like out of sight, out of mind, different timeline. Actually, I really like that quote, out of sight, out of mind, different timeline. I think I'm gonna make that a phrase. That's really good. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. And like, if it's on a different timeline, I don't have to worry about it. But it's like but it will affect us. And God, you see what I'm saying? I just start overthinking, and then I come to the pitfall, and then I'm like, oh my God, well, how do I talk about this? I don't want to get into politics, and I don't want to talk about this and the other. And it's like, babe, you don't have to talk about it. You can just say how you feel and move on. That's what I realized. And when I was talking to my little sister, I was like, this is how I feel about shit. And like, I don't even know what to say, but I don't want to talk about politics. And she's like, yeah, I definitely wouldn't, unless you were like extremely knowledgeable on the topic. That's when I would. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to, but I'm still really upset. And she's like, so say that. Who cares? Like, what's it like to be a little sister where you just truly don't ever care? Because not caring about what people think is fine. Like, I don't care if I say a controversial opinion. What is getting me is the fact that, and I guess this is an insecurity within me, because I know that my social media will grow at some point. But to me, I'm like, what will make me, with my views, not gain perspective from other people, but gain perspective from other people enough for them to engage with me? And not even just for social media purposes, but like I said again, I literally have my sister that I talk to a lot, and this camera, like, and my phone when I film. I do not talk to anyone really. I have a couple friends that I keep in contact with, but obviously, just like you, we talk like months and months apart, which I'm okay with. I had somebody tell me before that you just want me to talk to you all the time. That is fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy. Like, I'm not even gonna get into that, but you guys see what I'm saying. Like, it's just, that's how I've been feeling. It's just from here to here. And then once I start thinking about this shit, I'm like, oh my God, don't get depressed. And it's like, bitch, why would you get depressed off that? But don't get depressed, because I don't want to fall back into a trap of that huge depression that I was in. And it just feels like a never-ending cycle. But feeling like it's a never-ending cycle means it will be a never-ending cycle. And if you feel like this is just a moment, then it's just a moment. And that's all it's going to be for me. I've just needed a week to kind of, ride the wave out. Read my little book. And do my research paper. Now, as it comes for Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and stuff, I have gone back. Have I gone back regularly? Negative. Again, I have these papers and shit like that. That's another thing that I'm kind of getting on myself about. Like, I don't know why I'm like this, but ever since my first like big sexual assault that I've told you guys about, I've had a thing with working out. Like, even when I would go for runs with people when I was preparing for the Marine Corps, there was one time, I'm not even joking, we were running, and all of a sudden I got really tired. And when you obviously get really tired from running, you're using physical exertion, and sometimes like really using physical exertion can just make you cry. Like, it's so good that it makes you cry, like a somatic therapy kind of. And so I'm running, and I'm really tired, and I'm the last one. I'm always the last one. I suck at running. And I collapsed to the ground. And when I collapsed to the ground, I don't remember anything. I just remember crying so hard and having to take a breath because I couldn't breathe. Take a couple breaths, and then I just started walking. And I remember I think it was a staff sergeant at the time. He was yelling at me because I was in the depth to fucking run. Like, you're being timed right now, run. And I remember crying and running at the same time, not because I was so tired, not because I was being forced to run, not because I was, whatever. I had collapsed in that moment because when things got so hard and I was in such a fucking dark place the first time, it was in that moment that I was just like, I was so tired, I was so down and out, whatever, that I started thinking about everything, and I just collapsed to the floor. And then getting up and running again, and like, it felt, I don't even know. Honestly, everything is kind of like a daze. And then ever since then, I just have issues working out. I don't like people looking at me too close when I'm working out. I don't like being in the gym with a bunch of people. And I work through a lot of that in therapy and whatnot, but it's still kind of a thing. So when I have days that I have to go to Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and I've said this in a different video, I enjoy going. I actually really like going. I like all the people that I work out with and whatnot. But every time without fail, like, let's say technically there is one today at 10, but I have to do stuff and I'm doing this. the session that was at 10 o'clock today. Let's say this morning I woke up at 3 a.m. Don't ask me why. I just woke up at 3. Since 3 a.m., I have shit on myself, knowing that I can't go today because I have to finish this research paper. And it's like, why are you shitting on yourself? Why are we getting so overwhelmed? And it just takes me back to that point of when I collapsed to the ground, because it's like, okay, something's correlated here. And I've gotten through it enough to be able to even go back to the gym and do things. But for some reason, every single time before, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I don't care what you take me to do. The fact that people are going to be there, I don't know, really, honestly, why it's like that. So maybe if you suffer with something like that too, maybe you could let me know. But yeah, I have no idea what it's like. And I like it. And that's the thing too. Like, even in the core, when we would do stuff, like, physically people would have to not look at me. Like, I would have full-blown panic attacks when we would do stuff. I've had people that have had to run with me a couple times for weigh-ins because I was blacking out. And other times, like, I would hyperventilate when I would run because I was so, like, whatever the fuck it is when I get overwhelmed and with exercise. And I don't know if you guys remember either. I got diagnosed with empty sella, and I just went to the neuro about it, and they told me that I possibly might have some kind of like hole in, not like a murmur, or I don't remember exactly what they said, but some kind of hole in my heart that makes it actually harder to breathe and exercise. And I was like, oh my God, what if that's it too? Like, because I breathe like shit, I run like shit, so I get embarrassed in front of everyone. When I work out and do normal things, I get embarrassed because even when I was skinny, I still would get tired really fast. And then being fat now, it's like, obviously you're the fat one working out, tired, and everyone, it's just, I've never had a solid time in my life where it's like, oh, that's Caitlin, she's fit, she's a good girl. Like, she's cool, she's funny, she's doing her thing. I feel like my whole life has been an attack. Like, genuinely, I feel like my whole life has been an attack. And I know that's a horrible way to look at it and being kind of like victim-y, but let me just explain to you, okay? And I've told you guys this in the first episode. High school, horrible time making female friends. College, horrible time. That's when all the essay stuff happened. Then I went to the military, had a great time. But then unfortunately had some more horrible shit happen, and then got out of the military and developed PTSD and all this other shit from the traumas, and had more horrible shit happen, and then lost all my friends, lost everything on my account. I cut everyone off because I asked universe to, bring me these different positive things in my life that I was manifesting, and thankfully the universe was giving it to me, and I realized, oh, I don't need any of these people around me. Now, looking back after all of that, I've realized how big of a stride I've made, and I'm like, okay, these people weren't for me, this job wasn't for me, these exercises weren't for me. Like, I used to be a gym rat, lift heavy and shit. Now I'm like, I don't even want to deal with the gym. I'd rather train jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and stuff, but I'm still having that anxiety. What the fuck? So when you get anxiety, when you get overwhelmed, it's not for no reason. Like, the universe, your body is trying to tell you something. Like, what is it that's bothering me? And I don't think it's the act of working out so much anymore with me. I think it's the act of putting too much shit on me. Like, I'm expected to get good grades, get my life together at home, pay off debt, lose like a fucking 100 pounds, all this shit, and do my content. Like, people don't realize, yes, content is easy, but at the same time, it's the fucking editing. It is the editing that takes so long. So doing all full-time content, full-time school, and trying to get my life on track as well, like, it's hard. And I think that's what's making me overwhelmed, is I'm prioritizing things, and I'm prioritizing things, which is good, but I'm so used to just trying to do everything. Like, if I didn't get a workout in and I lacked in school, I didn't give a fuck because I'm still working on school, but I got my workout in. Like, I don't know why my brain is wrapped around this mindset of if you don't do everything in a day, like, then you're lazy or something. I don't know. I'm still working on that shit, but it's difficult. It's very difficult, especially when you're kind of doing things based off of what you're learning. And I haven't really had anyone other than the Marine Corps in my life that, got up, read, worked out, ate clean, did what they're supposed to do at work, did school, did all the shit. Like, I was that person in the Marine Corps, and then I lost myself so fucking hard, dude. And I don't think people really realize, like, dude, I fell off the wagon hard. And I think a lot of other people do too. And that's why most of my audience is women based, because y'all get it. Obviously, I'm a woman. Y'all get it. Like, you go down and fucking out, and then somehow, some way, we always know what to do next. And sometimes you just come to that point where you're like, I don't fucking know what to do next. And that's how I was. And thankfully, I pulled myself out of it by straight up being positive. Like, cutting everyone off, being positive, looking at myself, telling myself, like, not shitting on myself, but being so real with myself. Like, telling myself I have been a victim in some things, but in some things I have definitely, like, not shut up about. Like, I've just gone on and on and on because I was so hurt and I didn't have anyone in my life. And now I've realized, oh, you got to trust yourself. You have to build confidence within yourself. Honestly, I don't really trust anyone anymore, which is a thing I still need to work on. I was talking to my sister about that. I was like, I don't think I'll ever trust male or female, like, fully ever again, just because of how much I've been fucked over. And I hate saying that, how much I've been fucked over, because it's kind of like, oh, boo-hoo, you've been fucked over. I'm glad I got fucked over. I need to make that evident. You should be happy too, because it sends you down a different path in life. And what you do with that path is your choice. I always say you should shoot for being positive and pull the positive out of everything, because honestly, it saved my life. And I was going to make a YouTube video on that. Maybe if you guys still want to hear it, who knows? It's kind of like a voiceover, like one of those, but it's extremely true. Being positive saved my life. And I'm around a lot of negativity. I will say that, like, around a lot of negativity kind of all the time. And it's irritating to some, but I like who I am now. Even though I don't like where I'm at in my life right now, I like who I am. And with that being said, that means that good things are going to come to me. And you just got to believe that, like, and know it's true. If you're being negative and you hate yourself, of course your life's going to get worse. And we know this, but sometimes it's like emotions take over and it's like, fuck. That means that you can't control your brain. And I'm not blaming you, because obviously I couldn't either at some point. I grew up with not having my own brain and thinking that I did. I grew up with wanting people's attention so bad because I didn't feel like anybody gave a shit about me or had any attention-seeking habits to me other than negative men who were doing that shit. I've literally ran away from men. I've had men stalk. I've had to physically run away. I've had to physically run away in cars. I've had to physically fight men, like crazy as shit. But if you raise yourself to be secure and confident and trustworthy, I promise you, when people like that come around you, friend, foe, male, female, who are negative, you're going to be able to sniff that shit so quick that you're going to be like, no, get out of my energy. I did too much work on myself. No. And that's how I feel now. Even all the negative stuff that I told you guys earlier, like me running and like collapsing, like I can't even look at myself now and be like, damn, I feel bad for that version of me. I feel bad for that girl because I remember that pain, but the pain is what keeps me going. Like, even with all of this stuff going on in politics and me kind of being like, damn, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know how to be authentic. Like, I have things I want to say, but I don't really want to dabble in it. You just got to fucking do what you want to do, man. And also, another thing that I've realized is that even with social media, like, I always try to make everything align, and it's like, this video's got to be like this so that this video can be like that, and da-da-da. And it's like, Caitlin, have you ever thought maybe who cares if someone watches and you should just document for yourself? I had that coming to Jesus last night when I was reading this book, The Alchemist, and I'm like, why do I care? Like, if my daily vlog isn't perfectly aligned and all this shit, okay, do it better next time or fix it right there. And if you like it, me talking about, or you, if you like it, that's all that matters. And I know it's easier said than done, but when you really step in those shoes and you really realize, like, damn, it really doesn't matter. Like, it's like if you had a journal at home, no one's going to read your journal although I'm putting my journal online and thousands and millions of people have the opportunity to see it, it's kind of like it's still my life. I don't care about living my life out loud anymore. It was very scary for me to even get a mic. It was very scary for me to even get a camera, let alone put myself in front of the camera and start opening up and flapping my mouth with things that I believe in, things that I hold true to my heart. And it's very hard, but at the same time, if you don't give up, things get easier. You learn things, you get better at it. If you manifest something, it's going to come. Right now, I'm manifesting being one of the top forensic psychologists in the entire world in the entire country when I get my psychology. When I get my PsyD clinical psychology degree, aka my doctorate for that, that's one of my goals. Communication. My communication before, if you guys haven't been able to tell right now too, sometimes I stutter, sometimes kind of like tripping over words. It's, doing all this shit. I never used to speak like that. In Japan, I had really crisp, clear talking. I was very witty. I was very on it. Like I had it. My mind was right. And then when the depression hit and the migraines and stuff, it's like it took a whole back seat. And so I'm kind of catching up with my communication skills now. But that's something that, you can learn and get better at when you're doing this as well. And it goes hand in hand. Like, let's say this never popped off. It will, but let's say it never popped off. Even me doing this is setting me up to prepare myself for that number one goal of becoming one of the best forensic psychologists in the country, because I'm learning how to communicate. I'm learning how to talk to people. I'm learning how to relay information. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm learning how it sounds when I actually am being 100% authentic to a camera, and what it sounds like when I'm being performative. And I've learned so much. I learned people don't give a shit about you, and I learned that you don't give a shit about people in different ways. And like, it opens up my eyes to forensic psychology and what we're going to endure when we're done with school and whatnot, because it's like, you got to interview people. And thankfully from the military, I'm used to being around like a diverse group of people, because it was a culture shock when I first went in. When you interview people and you evaluate them, you're going to be talking to a large range of a vast majority of marginalized groups, right? And who on top of that have committed crimes or done whatever within the legal system to get in trouble, or etc. Having these skills as a backup, I'm happy about. Like, honestly, if you really think about it, this helps a lot, because let's say you, my camera, or you, the listener, are my client. I'm learning how to talk to you right now. I'm learning how to be professional. I'm learning, which I already know how to be professional, but in a more authentic state, So I think there's good and bad to everything, but that you should always try to find the good in everything. And I'm not saying that, oh, my boyfriend punched me in the mouth, I'm going to find something good about it. Okay, hold on. You need to leave, honey boo boo bear, because no man should be punching in the mouth. But what you can take from that lesson is to learn, I know exactly who I don't want to be with, what type of man I don't want to be with, and I know exactly who I don't want to be. Because if you leave that situation, you are now a woman who does not tolerate abuse. So even though maybe it happened, it takes the average woman 7 times, average person, 7 times to leave a domestic violent situation, you guys know what I'm saying, relationship, 7 times. At that 7th, 8th time, let's just say, you leave. I guarantee all women around you will be proud of you for leaving, because you are now a woman who will not tolerate abuse. Now, if you uphold that, that's even better, by saying, or by getting therapy for yourself and really looking inward and being like, okay, how could have I avoided that situation? Because that was one of the hardest for me. Like, I have dated not fucking good men at all who have been very traumatizing, but I will say the last one, like, took the fucking cake on shit. Like, took the fucking cake. And which is another reason why I got so into forensic psychology, because it's just like, dude, I feel like I'm in a whole different universe. You are altering my reality so bad. And it was interesting to me, how do you alter a person's brain so much when they don't even notice? And a lot of it is from that person's own abuse in their life and whatnot. So it's kind of like mixing worlds, and then it just creates a whole new reality for you that you're like, what the fuck? I don't even remember what I was talking about, but you essentially get my point that I don't even know. But it's been 46 minutes. I don't even know how long. Actually, maybe 40. I don't know. But you guys see how I feel now, and I'm going to be more open and honest with you. I'm not going to, who knows, maybe I'll start filming in the morning actually, because I kind of like this, having my breakfast, having my coffee and whatnot, and then being able to talk to you guys. It feels more freeing. It feels more me. And yeah, so you guys really need to start giving me ideas on what you want to talk about too, because everybody keeps saying that they're so interested in the forensic psych stuff, but it's like, okay, but what aspect? Like, I can teach you guys some stuff, but like, just because I'm in school and going to school for it doesn't mean I can divulge everything. And also some stuff I'm not knowledgeable in. Like if somebody is abusive like that and someone says like, why are they abusive? I don't know. I don't know the situation. Legally, I can't, get into it, but I can say the basics, like how I said earlier, men who were abused in childhood have more of a chance of abusing intimate partners and children when they live in the home with them later on in adulthood. Things like that. Or men can be narcissistic because of this, or women can be narcissistic because of that. There's more female serial killers that do this because of this, little things like that we can get into and talk to. And I need to start writing down ideas and talking about it. But really, when it comes to the forensic psych, I don't want to be held down. I don't want to be held down to anything, any kind of conversation. I want to talk about whatever the hell I want, whenever I want. And so far from what I've found with forensic psych is that when I'm learning stuff in school is when I kind of feel comfortable to be able to talk to you guys about it. And I also was thinking, I was like, damn, what if I learn something in school and then I kind of make it like a lesson for you guys of like, okay, this is what I learned in school this week. But then I was like, will that get me in trouble? So if like you're a lawyer or have any kind of knowledge in that, paralegal, please let me know, because I don't want to get sued again, like with the whole teaching thing. So I honestly, I want to get into it with you guys. I just don't really know how to legally, maybe like the Bailey Sarian way of saying what crimes happen. But even then, like I said, it's over and over and over and over. Like it's just so overdone. Tiffany, it's 10:04 and she's still sleeping. She can sleep all day. It's not even funny. But give me some ideas, guys, and I will see you next week. I promise everything's going to get so much better. Like, we just need to get through this couple weeks, and you can feel how you want to feel. I honestly don't want to even get into it. I'm just letting you guys know how I feel, and, we're going to figure out this authenticity shit together, because doing it by yourself is so hard. And I don't know why I have the urge to say this, but I do. Like, my sister, I was going to close out, but look at me. My sister and I were talking yesterday, and she's like, you really do have a hard time making female friends. I'm like, I know. And I think that's why I crave female, like, friendship so much, is because I have such a fucking hard time with making female friendships. And the ones that I do have now, I can't even tell you how thankful I am for them, because they make me feel seen. They make me feel heard. We don't have to talk all the time. It doesn't feel like a competition or someone's walking all over you. But for my audience base, I do want it to be females. Like, I know that sounds, actually, I don't even care. I do want it to be females. And I know that some of it's kind of like maybe an insecurity for me of like, is it really me? Like, why can I never ever get female friendships? But I just need to see, like, I just want a big group of female, not even like a big group, because if you get girls in a group, it can be really fake and whatnot. But I'm just saying, like, a supportive group, like the Drew Afualos, how she has a large female fan base group, and yes, it's on shitting on men and hitting on men, but mine can be different. I just want something like that. I do crave something like that, and I was kind of scared to admit that before, but now I'm not, because it's like, well, obviously I'm doing social media for a reason. Like, I just need to know. I don't know. It's like a weird thing in me, but I really do appreciate you guys. And you guys got me out of a shit storm by even listening to me when I was in my depression, dude. I could go on about that for 5 million years. And I just thank God for the social media. Thank God for social media, because I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have some kind of outlet at that time. So genuinely, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm going to wrap it up, folks. Give me some ideas for next week's episode, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. Love you guys.